we'll be ready to rock here. I'm back. All right. Let's get some jams. Let's get some jams going. All right. Oh my God, what a nightmare. All right, let me know if things go south. I'll try not to kick any cables. Oops. What was I doing? I'm trying to make a background painting. They're trying to make a 3D world painting. Hopefully it wasn't because of the size of the pixels. 2160, I believe it is. Hey, watch streak, nice. All right. So we're gonna do copy and paste. We'll do flip it. Put that behind. We'll have to try to get rid of some of that same thing, same problem. Of the Rorschach effect. Have I been to Latam in Peru? No, I've never been to Peru. My brother was in Peru probably, gosh, this must have been like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It was like I forget what village he was in. He was in some village that was all like water, sort of you got around on boat, on a little boats. Yeah, but I've never been to Peru. Oh, Cherry Blossom Festival, that's cool. Oh, have I ever been to Latin America? Thanks, John. I've been to Argentina. And where else have I been? Just Argentina. That's the only place I've been. I was in Argentina probably, yeah, something like 20 years ago. But I really want to visit Colombia. And Chile. Let's see here. So I'll try to make this look less, what do you call it? symmetrical. Sounds like your cat's having the zoomies. Alright. So this is fine. This works fine as an underpainting. Alright, so let's work in the nebula stuff. Now I've got more room. So I'm trying to build this out as a background, space background for this Jupiter scene I'm working on, this 3D Jupiter scene. Do I fuck with the I Ching? I Ching? I have the I Ching. I used to have a coworker who made lots of decisions using the I Ching, and sometimes I use similar method of like flipping to, like what do you call it? Bookmancy sometimes and things like that, like flipping to a random page of something and finding a word. I might do something like that. I haven't done that in a long time, but it's all sort of like tarot related a little bit. I've looked into I Ching, but to me it's like it's just another wormhole, and I spent so much time on the tarot that I feel like similar principles of like chance and random messages, you know, kind of thing, sequences. So I don't mess with the I Ching too much. I had a friend who messed with it a lot, and it seemed to be like maybe like too reliant on it. They were like using it as a crutch to make decisions when they felt paralyzed. So I don't know. I think could be cool to. Why do you mess with the I Ching a lot? Is that something that you're? Oops. All right, let's try to build this up here. Try to keep it contained here so it doesn't hit the edges. That way I can keep it under control here. Yeah, I worry that a little bit about that, because it's like you want to be able to, I don't know, I mean everyone's brains are built different, but I want to be able to make decisions on my own without consulting anyone. Personally, I want to be able to like feel confident to make decisions in my life without the help of outer forces, you know, because the outer forces should already be sort of like working within me, and like I should be like internally aligned with my direction in life, you know, like with my desire and with my bliss. I should be aligned in those things ideally, so I shouldn't have to consult someone too much unless I'm like experiencing like a deep emergency where I'm like I feel like I've gone past the limit of my abilities. I need to consult a higher power, you know. Then I'd start you know, that's when I sort of like consult the tarot. That kind of thing is like usually when I'm like feel like, okay, I've like reached the limit of my capacity and I need help. Because, you know, you say you should be like a living, breathing, walking tarot. If you're like really, if you're like, you know, with it. I don't know what I would want to consult about lately. I mean, I feel like the questions are so big right now. It's hard to personalize it a little bit. I feel like I might be too like online. Maybe there's too many big world burning world questions going on. All right. Let's see what happens when we start messing with some shader stuff. It's crazy. I'm gonna leave this one off for now. Let's see. What's going on with this guy? Yeah. I'm trying to get at here. The way the hexagrams connect can be crazy, yeah. I don't understand it super well. I did. I forget when I was like looking into it a little bit. I was looking into the I Ching a little bit and I was like finding the way they were like stacking those dashes and dots and stuff in different ways to represent different like visual ideas was like cool. My family just learned my late grandma had a baby with a helicopter pilot and passed the year my mom was born, so I'm 1/4 Icelandic instead of a quarter Scottish like we thought our whole lives. Well, you know, it's hard to resist those helicopter pilots. Those rascally helicopter pilots. Alright, this is looking like space sherbet right now. I gotta get it hitting a little bit darker here, so I'm gonna do a... So kind of like shadow overlay. He died in a helicopter crash too. That's not... That sucks. All right. Zigzaggy. Zigzaggy Nebula. Let's see what we do here. I think I gotta make this a lighter color. Are you interested in meeting your new half relatives, or you don't care? It's fucking crazy. I might have forgotten how to paint space. Got into a groove like 3 years ago, and now I'm like, what am I even doing? That looks cool, but that looks like not what I want to do. Too bright. Let's move this. How about I move this behind all this shit? See what that looks like. Alright. That looks better, I think. Yeah, looks better. And then how about I move this on top of this? And then I make this multiply. No, darken. Fuck me, man. Ooh. That just looks like mud. Just gonna keep it normal for now and move it underneath and just keep adding to it here. Just like let the pops of color come through. Let's see, just if I keep building layers, we'll see where we end up. I mean, I haven't drawn any stars yet, but let's see. See where we end up here. Sometimes you gotta find it. You know? Go to places you... Anyway, this is why I don't like doing, color... What do they call it? Color scripts. Because sometimes when I'm painting shit, I really don't know, especially when we're using Photoshop, like, sometimes I just don't know where I'm gonna end up. Until I find something where I'm like, okay, that feels right. You know? I mean, it could be a mess. It could be a mess all the way until I start to click on something. So we'll see. Do a little bit, some thinner textures here. Like, some people are really controlled about the way they approach image making, and they know exactly like the process that they're gonna use to get where they want to go, because they have like a predetermined idea of it, based on like templates they've like mastered, you know. And I guess in some ways I have some of those things, you know, templates, mental templates or something, but I think what keeps art making fun is the frustration of sometimes fun and frustration can be like the same thing. I think you're like the challenging yourself and getting lost, and you know what I mean, feeling like you don't have mastery over what you're doing and you're trying to sort it out, and then you're like, oh, I'm still learning. That's nice. All right. It's starting to look like something. So let's do a highlight layer for defining some of these clouds. Highlight layer. And I think we'll use this like bright green kind of thing here. And just start to define some of these shapes. Yeah, learning is fundamental. They say. Thanks for coming back, Doug, after all those technical problems I was having like a half hour ago. Okay, let's see. I don't know if this is the right color, but I might do like put a shader on it and see how it interacts with the world. Might hue shift it. Yeah. I don't know what was going on. I was having all sorts of weird things happening with my computer. My hard drive detached. My hard drive like ejected on its own. My OBS was telling me I was missing files. I don't know what was going on. Let's see. Let's maybe do a bit bigger. Let's see. Doesn't look good. Oh. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Let's let's put some stars in here and then see. Let's see we'll see what's up. I might need to add some like deep black. Deep black overlay. Well, let's mess with some stars here. Stars. BG. Let's do a second layer of stars. Stars middle ground. And we'll make these stars orange. Make them a little bit bigger. Thanks. All right. And then we'll go foreground stars. And we'll make these stars neon blue. And we'll make these a little bigger. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to do a overlay to try to sort of like create depth, because right now it's a little bit flat, right? So we're going to do darkness overlay. We're going to do this as a soft round brush, and I'm going to color pick this dark area here, but I'm going to make it more reddish. Okay. How much conscious thought do you put into your color palette? Is it all intuition? Do certain colors have certain meanings for you? I love overthinking things. I do have a color theory, like a spiritual color theory that I vaguely refer to. I actually put it in the forming book that's coming out, which I mostly got from Jodorowsky and maybe a little bit from Rudolf Steiner. And then the rest of it is just color theory I picked up from high school. Really, my art teacher made me paint color grids and stuff like that, color relation grids. So I have that like fundamental background, but then when I'm painting, especially painting in Photoshop, I like to I have like a sort of like underlying color theory that helps me stay, like, helps keep me from losing my mind, basically. But then I like to surprise myself and find color relations, especially like toggling stuff and hue shifting, where I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see that happen, you know? And that to me is more interesting than actually following like strict color theory. I want to like surprise myself, basically. More than like listen to sort of any sort of rules about color. You know, I have a story where on Midnight Gospel, there was a colorist who kept handing in stuff that was like really following pretty like fundamental color theory rules, and so he'd always be combining blue and orange all the time because they're complementary. And after a while I was like, hey man, like, you're not allowed to hand in anything with blue and orange complementary colors. You know, like, that's I'm putting rules on you where you can't do that. And he didn't listen to me, actually, for a while, but then I kept being like, oh, you're doing it again, blue and orange, like, you gotta stop. Which is funny for me to say because there's a lot of blue and orange in this piece I'm making right now. I just saw him like defaulting to it and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is like an unconscious habit that you've created for yourself because you know it works. But we're not trying to do stuff that works. We're trying to do stuff that is surprising. Which was my, you know what I mean? That was what I was trying to get at with that. So, you know, and if you look at movie posters a lot, there's a thing like action movie posters, they use a lot of like blue and orange all the time. blue sky, dark blue sky, super saturated orange fire, stuff like that. If you look, like tons of action movies have that color palette for some reason. I mean, I don't think you should ban colors unless you're like, if you feel afraid to do anything else, then you should try taking a diet, a diet from those colors, I guess you could say, like no orange October, This is looking really aggressive. Which is cool. I've read that some people with synesthesia see different key signatures as different colors. So I've started thinking more about color theory in relation to music lately. I like what keys would complement each other and stuff. I think of storytelling in terms of like musical genre sometimes. Have I worked with Tom Hunter? I've worked with Tom Hunter a bunch of times, yeah. Tom's the man. Tom helped me with some the character designs for Jesus 2. And Tom worked on Midnight Gospel, and I think Tom did some stuff for Adventure Time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Tom's all over the place. He's like the go-to, you need a character designer, somebody hire Tom Hunter. I would say hot pink is my favorite color. All right. What am I feeling about this? I think it needs even darker pockets. What is this? All right. Gotta go darker. You prefer colors like blue? He does really cool Warhammer drawings. Yeah, I have a somewhere I have a Tom Hunter drawing of he sent me a drawing he did of Kenshiro, I think. Somewhere. I don't know what I did with that drawing. It's like somewhere in a pile of original art I need to frame at some point. So we're going to go Darkness 2. I really want to get a little bit more depth going here. I'm worried that making this into the world backdrop is gonna I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully by the end of the night, I'm going to drop this into the 3D space and we'll see how it looks. Let's just focus the light in the center here. That's more like it. Get a little more gnarly. Some black in there. All right. So now I can find the darkness here. Warm pink gives you the ick. I really like salmon. Is that like warm pink? Have I worked with Robert Ryan Corey? Yes, I've worked with Robert Ryan Corey. He was the original before Phil Rinda. He was the original character designer on Adventure Time. And then when Phil took over, Robert was still doing like special poses and stuff. And then he was always around. He worked on Uncle Grandpa, so we were all on the same floor. I used to see him all the time. I actually saw him on the street not too long ago. I think he might live in Echo Park. But I didn't get a chance to say hi to him. I haven't said hi to him in a long time. But yeah, I know Robert Ryan Corey pretty well. Salmon pink reminds you of worms. Hey, you know, worms are good for the earth. Highlight layer is looking a little bit lost here, so let's see if I can. It's like too much. I just put it back. Oh no, plus 16. Okay. Let's see if I mess up the color a little bit. Something like that. Might be a little bit too much. Like something like there. Is Robert Ryan Corey have a like social media? I don't know. I don't follow him on social media. All right, let me save this. So I'm not gonna make the. I'm not gonna put the stars or anything on a separate layer. Because when I add this, because when I put this into Blender, I think what I might do is I might make on top of this as being like the skybox, I might make a 3D layer of stars, so that there'll be like some parallaxing and stuff like that. Yeah, Robert Ryan is very, very passionate and knowledgeable, and he cares deeply about his work. Is my memory of him. The last time we ever sat down and kind of talked about art. Yeah. Okay, so I've saved this. I'm going to save this as a separate file now. Because I'm going to flatten it. And then I'm going to make it even so that you'll see what I'm going to do. Okay, file. Save as copy. PNG. Skybox. Flattened. Save. All right, so then I'm going to open that. Open. All right, now this is a trick I learned. I go to filter, other, offset. Let's do let's do 0. Okay. All right, and then I got to make these parts seamless. Good luck. He has a Facebook and an Instagram, but he's rarely on them. But whenever he does these powerfully inspiring posts on drawing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Robert's the man. He's very methodical artist. And very like intentional. Oops. Okay. Let's see here. That's not good. Let's go here. See. All right, now we got to offset the horizontal. Okay. Be tough. I don't want to get rid of this like moody orange. Let's see. You can't show it like following a line, you know? You don't want these doubling things. Yeah, I don't know. I see Robert and his girlfriend Julia at like walking out of Lassen's every once in a while, like the grocery store near me. So they must live close to me, I guess. But yeah, I haven't really hung out with those guys in a long time. Let's see if I put this, do like a light. Darkness here. All right. Well, it seems okay. Oh, there's a little duplicating there. All right. Maybe I should donk that out. Okay. All right, let's look at the offset. Move this over here. Move this over here. It. Okay. Now I gotta save this as a image mode. 32 bits. That just changed it a little bit, didn't it? I should have had it set 32 bits from the start, but it's okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, I made it brighter. Okay, adjustments. 32 bits. Why does it make it brighter? I don't know. But we'll just okay. Okay, I'm gonna save it as an EXR. I can always adjust the brightness of this in Blender. So we could save as, first we'll save it. Oops. Open EXR. Bing, bing, bing. Save. Okay. And then let's see. Compression. I'm going to say none. Okay. Close it. Let's open Blender and see what happens. Quit Photoshop. Did I see any other shows that have hired as many comic artists as much as Adventure Time did? I feel like that was a big factor in its success and its originality. There was a little bit of time where shows were copying sort of what Adventure Time did. I mean, actually, JG did the same thing on regular show, so that was at the same time. Because I remember I was at a comic convention before I got hired on Adventure Time, and I remember meeting Calvin Wong for the first time. And he was like, I got hired on the Cartoon Network show called Regular Show with a weird gumball machine character. So JG was doing it, and it wasn't like it hadn't been done before. It was Um, you know, they had done it on SpongeBob. I remember SpongeBob had hired some. So throughout time, like shows, cartoon shows have hired comic book artists. I know the dude from Milk and Cheese got hired on stuff, and you know, Johnny the Homeless Asylum, you know, Yonan Vasquez came from comics, and so it's always been a thing. But maybe Adventure Time did it, like I know that the culture of that sort of opened some floodgates for comic book artists to be like, oh, maybe I could get hired on a Cartoon Network show. But that was happening at Nickelodeon and stuff too. Maybe less so at Disney. But it also depends on the taste of the showrunner. I don't know what a Gur hat is. Okay. So we go into the shader editor. World properties. And then we go. World properties. How do I do this? Just background. The texture. Principal BDSM. Come, this isn't changing. Shader editor. Go to current file scene. Aha, here we go. World. Yonin's character, but on a cap. Oh, okay. I don't really know Yonin's Invader Zim. I don't know. I've met Yonin like twice maybe, but I don't know that world very well. How do I do the shader editor for world properties? Viewport. It's only showing me the shader editor for the object, but not the world. Oh, here it is. Okay, Jupiter. right? Round cube. You had to find it online. Oh, world. Aha! I did it. I did it. Oh, gosh. I feel so accomplished. I think it was Brandon Graham or Nick Gazin who said that Adventure Time is great at helping a lot of comic artists with money and getting medical insurance. But a whole gen of comics was because of it. It's pretty true. But it's the same way that, you know, anything like I'm trying to think, any sort of like cultural milestone is going to have a ripple effect and also be an industry that hires lots of artists and gives them jobs, you know. A lot of comics were never made because of it, because people had reliable jobs. I would say maybe, but the whole time I was working on Adventure Time, not the whole time, but I would say most of the time I was working on Adventure Time, I was making my own comics on the side, and there were other people also. So if you felt like you couldn't have the time to make your own personal work outside of work, I would say that that's your fault for the most part, unless you've got like really, really heavy family obligations, which some people did, but you know, I didn't, so I was just drawing at night. And you know, yeah, Adventure Time health insurance saved my teeth. I would say in a lot of ways, working on that show made my life a lot easier monetarily, and then it gave me the bandwidth to make my own stuff. Also, there's always going to be something in the way. You know, either you're like broke, and you're so stressed out about it and depressed that you can't bring yourself to draw all day long. You know, because you're just hustling to make money. Somehow, or find a job or something, dealing with unemployment or blah blah blah, like all that is also stress. And then having a full-time cartooning job is also stress. So either way you cut it, there's like an emotional toll. I think life is difficult for artists to make their own things in any circumstance, you know. You're always being pushed to try to either find a job to support yourself or work an art job that isn't your personal work. And usually your personal work is the thing that makes you the least amount of money, if any at all. Right? So, okay, let's, so we're going to add an environmental texture. Here, vector color to, let me open, what? To color? Oh, what? Okay, color, yeah. All right, and then we go vector mapping node. Right. Go like that. And then we go texture coordinate. Here, and then that goes to vector. Okay. And then we're going to add new. And this will be, what do we call this? Skybox? Jupyter Skybox. Pixels. I think it's 2160. What is it? 30. Okay. Pixels is, I always forget this number, 3840. 3840. I think. Okay. Alpha, color, blah, 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 new image. Oops, what? Can't find it. And then Jupyter, nope. Where's that? Animation plus trailers. BGs. EXR. Here it is. Open image. And it's not showing up. Very interesting. I think forming a space opera comedic masterpiece. Thanks, man. Let's see. Beamer ball? Projection? Single image. Color space. What's going on here? Jupyter Scene Skybox EXR. Yes. Do wrong. Environmental texture. Vector. Color. World output. Maybe. Oh. Okay, let me look it up. EXR not showing up. World properties. Blender. Ensure you're using environmental texture node. Yes. Switch to rendered viewport shading to see if. Am I in rendered viewport? Yes. And verify that transparent is unchecked in the render properties film tab. Okay. Let me see. Film tab. Film. Oh. Okay. And then let's see. Maybe it's too dark. Brightness. What is going on? Alpha. Let's see. OpenEX are not getting generated in certain cases. I did make this work before. Dun, dun, dun. This is not good. Let's see. What could be wrong? Let me check out a video. Let's see. Yeah, adding EXR file to Blender. Skybox. Easy Sky. 5 years ago. No, I want something 1 year ago.
How to add an HDRI map in Blender. Start by changing the shader type to world.
I did that.
Add an environment texture node and connect it to the background node.
Yes.
Click the open button and select your HDRI. To change the rotation of the HDRI, add a mapping node and connect it to the environment texture node. Add a...
Okay, let me see what happens if I do. If I get rid of this. And then I just go. All right, that shouldn't just be black. I think I changed. The world should be. Right now, the world is like black, black. Okay. Blender world is black. Even though principled BSDF is white. No. Checking the world properties, switching to rendered mode. No. Ground. No lighting. There is lighting in my scene, so shut up. Turn off transparency if the background should be black. Right, transparency is not on. Good world properties have increased the color strength and show backgrounds illuminated. Color management in the render properties. Oh, it's weird. I don't know what any of this is. Okay. Sorry, I'm working through this on the stream. I just don't know what. Am I familiar with the comic creator Fukator? Fukator? That's a name he goes by in the title he's going. Yeah, I've read Fukator. I've read the first issue of Fukator years and years ago. It was a very well rendered, well drawn, and goofy comic. That's what I'll say about it. Background is black. Man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this isn't showing up. Transparent. Okay, I'm going to try to add another texture. So find texture coordinate. No, that's not what I find. Add environment texture. Here. Boink. Boink. Open. XR. Okay, that should do it. That should open it. So it's not showing up for some reason. IOR alpha. So there's some setting that's going on that's not. Alright, Skybox. Skybox not showing up. Blender. Camera for clipping distances, incorrect world node setups, improper normals on Sky Dome mesh. No. What's am I doing? EV if important. No, it's not showing you my miles. Too bad. Try changing the camera clipping. Its default is 100. Try adding 1 or 2 zeros. It's in the camera settings clip end setting. Camera settings. Camera settings clip end setting. All right, let me see. Camera setting. These Blender people are so unhelpful. Sort of camera setting, clip, and Blender. Object data properties. Okay, so go to camera, and then object data. Clip start, clip end. Nothing. Hey, thanks for the subscription, Ocheng. It's going okay. I thought I would have this really impressive stream today because I was going to make this crazy skybox and it was going to fucking create a beautiful space for my Jupiter to sit in here, but I can't get it to show up. It's very all right, that's gonna fucking I might have to consult my Blender communities. Yeah, man. I don't know how to get it to show up in here. I don't know what these color spaces are. I'm not getting answers on Google. Fix Blender's viewport clipping. No. These questions are all from like 2013. Let's see what this says. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm scrolling through potential answers here. Let me just try making the... Alright, let me just try it. Because if I can't even make principal BDSF world, surface, none. Here. So just having this on should turn the whole world white. Like brighten it up because I've got alpha at 1. Hey Pressure Matt, what's up? So I don't understand what's going on. World properties not changing Blender. World properties color strength aren't updating Blender. You're likely in solid viewport. No, I'm not. But you can go with scene lighting. Switch to rendered view. I'm in rendered view. Using nodes, toggling off on. See your world set. No, I already, and I'm doing that. All color effects, your rendered backgrounds. Viewport background color. No. Turn that off. I'm using someone else's file, so I think there's like some shit he has set up that I don't like. World color affects your render backgrounds, but I think what you actually want to change is the viewport background color, which is a setting that you find in the user preferences. Okay. I wonder if I import my preferences. Let's see. Viewport. lights. To viewport color to the render world color. Check the world background checkbox in the display panel of properties of a property shelf. Fuck. I don't know what that means. These people, like, give the most shorthand answers to one of the most complicated fucking softwares. Let's see. Why is the world's background color not changing? Here we go. Background color is not changing because it seems you've enabled the transparent option under the film settings. Okay, I changed that. Put a big white plane behind the letters. Set the material to background. No. Shader editor isn't changing the world. I'm in rendered. These people. Oh, here we go. Here's a video on it. Okay.
So this is not an HDRI tutorial, but it's just how to change the strength and the color of the default Blender background, which is great, but if you wanted a more cinematic shot, you could change the color. So it's really simple, and I'll go through it right now. So firstly, let's just go to the shadings tab up here and click on that. So right now we've just got our default cube, and this is the default HDRI that comes up when we're in this tab. So let's go into pre-rendered mode, just like that, to see what's gonna happen. And it's our cube immersed in a gray background. So we can fix this very simply. Let's just go over here to where it says object, click on it, and do world. Now where it says world, you can see we've got two nodes right here. So we've got the background and the world output. All we have to do is click on this color tab and change it. And you can see our world background is changing.
Mine doesn't.
It's like almost stupidly easy. And now we can change how white that world is. So if we were to make this color like white over here, and we can change the strength to see how blinding it is. Basically the brightness. Like if I had white but I made the strength to 0, it's just gonna be black. But if I set the strength to something like 0.6, let's go back to the layout, and we have to remember to be in pre-rendered mode. And now we've got a nice misty white background, which could be great if you were doing an animation or something which involved you to be focusing on vivid colors. Like if, for example, if we set this cube to have a material base color and make it red, it stands out it stands out much nicer than if it was just that same default background. So you can see the difference. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and if this helped you,
Did not help me. Did not help me. I did something to my practice changes the ambient lighting. Right. Yeah, I can change the ambient lighting on the. Oh, it doesn't even affect the object. The F, dude. Something I'm not doing right. I don't know. So even in the random room, the world doesn't change. And if I add light, I won't see the object's reflection. So, okay. Uncheck transparent, which will allow the world. Okay, wait a second. Maybe I fucked up. Output. Render properties. No. Transparent. Right. Yeah, turn that off. That's not my problem. Okay, guys. Well, I was hoping to have a very fun thing to show you guys, but this is just a roadblock. I need to go talk to my Blender nerd friends and ask them what I'm doing wrong. So it is what it is. So I'm gonna log off for the night and ask my Blender folks, what am I doing wrong? Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. Wasn't the best stream. But it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, you think you're gonna do a certain thing and then it just doesn't work out. So, okay. Bye, everybody.